Hi guys, I want to go over the colors real quick for this one. This is the Deep Magenta by Liquitex Heavy Body. This is the Charcoal Matte Metallic, the Pewter by Deco Art Metallics, Deco Art Satin Enamel, we know that one, and the Arteza Light Apricot. That's a really interesting color. Iridescent Silver Fine and Permanent Maroon by Golden. Those are the heavy bodies. Lamp Black by Cheap Acrylic Colors, and I mixed that with some of the Carbon Black by the Golden Fluid just to give it an extra darkness, and the Golden Fluid Titanium White. All my colors today were mixed with Floetrol for the most part and a little bit of Gloss Medium. And this canvas I put a silver background on. But you know, one thing before we get started I want to say thank you so much, especially to Arteza, and I don't know if they will watch this, but they sent me a Christmas box and I unboxed it live on camera a couple days ago. So thank you from Arteza for all those goodies. You can catch that one in my video feed. I wanted to also thank Andrea Allison for being a patron of the arts, and they help bring more art videos to you. If you want to be a patron, there's a link to the PayPal in the description box, and small donations are welcome. It all helps my channel, you guys, so thank you so much for all your support. This is an 11 by 16 canvas here, and I put just a very, very thin layer on the bottom of this canvas. And then I just started drizzling paint on. So, you know, this is one of those paintings, it had a lot of ups and downs. And truthfully, when I went back into the editing, I thought, wow, there were some times it was really pretty. And the problem I was encountering with this painting is it kept falling in on itself. And I made the colors maybe just a little too thin for balloon rolls, I guess. So that was part of my issue. But I did use this black. I watered down quite a bit, and that could have been the other part of my issue. Not all the paints were too thin, but that black that I added, and then this white, see, it's almost like water. And those were my two swipe colors. And I usually do make the swipe colors pretty thin, but overall, between the thinness of those colors and then I used a damp paper towel, I think it just added too much liquid to the canvas, because I also had a base coat. So, you know, those are all things you need to consider when you're doing a swipe. How thick are your paints? How thick is the swipe color? Do you have a base coat, and do you wet your paper towel? All of those things are going to factor into whether or not the patterns that you've created will stay and hold. Now, if you use glue as your medium, you're more likely to get some of those patterns to hold. But you know, I don't. So I mean, sometimes I do, but in general, I don't. And in this painting, like I said, everything was mixed with Floetrol and a little bit of the Golden's gloss medium and gloss pouring medium, I'm sorry. So it was definitely maybe a little bit too thin. I love the pewter that's popping up on the top there. Look at that pewter coming in. If you guys don't know it already, the Deco Art Pewter is a magic cell maker. And in a flip cup, it is the magic lacing maker. So it will always make lacing. Now, I love the way this swipe looks, and I just want to be really clear. But the black was so thin that you can see the cells are just basically disappearing there on the left, bottom left. So I ended up deciding to add a little bit of interest with the balloon rolls. And so I just went through and added some balloon rolls. I thought they were looking pretty. Pretty, pretty. And I just love this color palette, you guys. It's so gorgeous. That apricot just popping through now and again like that. But I thought, you know what, some shimmer would be nice, so I put some drops of the high flow on there and rolled my balloon over it. Here's a good close-up picture of that. It makes like these really pretty little shimmering petals. Now the thing is, it's really, really thin too, so it doesn't necessarily stay very well, and especially with the background that's already pretty wet. So I keep going over and over this, and what ends up happening, and it doesn't necessarily show that well on camera, but it's kind of breaking apart. So I'm getting the pretty petal looking shimmer petal effects, but here is where, see, I start just adding some more high flow because it looks shallow and is starting to kind of dissipate. So I have to take another approach, and I bring the airbrush out, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna start to maybe play around with just pushing some of this high flow into some of these other colors and see what happens. Now, of course, when you do this, you're gonna start losing, you know, the definite patterns, but see even the pewter, see how it's just started to fall apart. So this whole painting is falling apart the whole time, and that's why you see me keep going and going, not because I didn't love the way it looked in the beginning, but it didn't stay that way. And I cut out a lot of the video footage of me coming back because it just kept falling and falling apart. So I thought, well, maybe I could just do some more controlled swipes, and immediately that wasn't happening. So here's where I just decide, you know what, it's just gonna be ruined anyway, so I might as well just let go of the possibility of anything happening with this canvas. I really was like, you know what, I'm just gonna be done with this. I'll do one more swipe. If it doesn't turn out, I'm just gonna give up, because nothing seems to be holding its shape, and I've pretty much done everything that I can think of to get some definition there. Now, keep in mind, as I've done this, that's silver, by the way, that's the background color. I'll just put a big line of that silver there. Keep in mind, as I'm doing this, as I did all those balloon rolls, I took off a lot of the excess paint that was on the center of that canvas. So that was actually ended up being my friend move. I was actually really glad I did that, because all of a sudden I thought, you know, I'm always trying to get something coming from the center of the canvas. What if the center was the showcase? And then my camera shut off because I had been going for like an hour and a half. But what I did was add high flow pearl right around the edges. When I realized the camera was off, I started recording again, and I had put some high flow just around the edges there, and then I used my airbrush and blew it back over the silver. This is one way to kind of make your high flow stretch, because it's really expensive. And oh my gosh, I loved this look immediately, and I knew I was onto something. So I was pretty excited at this moment, because all these little cracks started forming, but they looked really pretty with that high flow kind of floating over the top of that silver. And you got some little fractals in there. It's really pretty. So again, the middle section is falling apart. I'm losing definition in my balloon rolls. I give it one last go with a little bit of accents here and there, and decide, okay, I'm done, it's good. And I do love the painting, but I went back like 5 minutes later. You can see I was taking pictures and everything, and then I went back like 5 or 6 minutes later and again had lost more definition. So I decided to add a little bit of fresh, thick paint in there. And when I did that, look at the results, you guys. Oh, look at that. Such a small thing, but it added so much depth to the painting, that black did. And look at it dried. It reminds me in spring when flowers are pushing up or covered with snow, and there's like that crust of icy snow around the flowers. That's kind of what this painting reminded me of. And there it is on my gray wall. I have a gray wall in my studio. And it's so shiny, you guys, and so shimmery. Here's a video of it. It dried so pretty. And I really am excited about the way it looks and the way it dried. So yeah, there it is. So that's it, you guys. Thanks for coming along with me on this journey. And as always, I cannot wait to make more art videos just for you. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.